I don't care. You are supporting the destruction of an entire country because of the pain of your grandma. Are you serious?
Let me try to answer your Kurds question like this. The way I guess I think of the Kurds is compared to the Palestinians. The Palestinians have every right to diplomatically find their way to create a state. And if that fails and Israel says no and they want to do violent means, so then they can do so. But if they lose, they lose. And if they win, they win. That's the way the world works right now in my worldview. I don't see international law holding much weight, unfortunately. I wish it did. And like that's just the way it works. Like if they can't come to the table and figure out something, then what other means is there to?
That is not the response. Would you support the Kurds, the Turks in the north, the Azeris, the Baloch, and other ethnic groups now seeking to use this opportunity to break up Iran into multiple parts? Would you support their right of self-determination and freedom because you love freedom so much? Would you be in support of that? Yes or no? You are not answering the question.
If they could prove like a strong ethnic.
No, they have been fighting. The Kurds have been genocided in the past. The Kurds have been going through a lot. And I'm posing to you, now you can't claim all of a sudden you have lost your memory, that you have some sort of disorder. No, you are familiar. So you claim to be from Iran. You claim to know about this topic. When I ask you the same question in the line of logic and the morality, on the moral high horse you're standing, you can't deal with the question because it's inconvenient. You don't want your friends that are Kurds to find out your true identity and what you truly think. What about the Baloch? What about the rights of the Turks, the Azeris in the north? Would you want the balkanization of Iran according to plans of America? This is what the Americans are looking for. They want a balkanization of Iran. And you are a disgrace. You told me the story of your grandma, and this doesn't sit well with me. She left the country as a loser. This is so sad. Why are people so wicked? Like you say, oh well, I want this country destroyed because.
Good afternoon, Sam. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Theodore. What's going on?
Oh, a lot to talk about since we spoke last. Lots to say, mate. Lots to say. Look, can I answer your question?
Yes.
So the Kurds and the Azeris in Iran, they do have a claim for independence. Same way do the Palestinians and a lot of other countries. Because what you need to understand, Sav, is that Iran, the Persians, had an empire. They conquered large areas of land and acquired lots of territories that do not belong to them. And when they receded into the modern state Iran, unfortunately, they've got some territories that weren't theirs in the first place. So the question is, you got to ask yourself, how did the Kurds end up in Iran or sections of Iran? They were there all along, and they deserve a country. Same way as the Palestinians, same way as other parts of the world. But at the end of the day, this has got nothing to do with the current conflict.
It has everything to do with the current conflict. Then the point here which you're missing, hold on. The point here you're missing is that he's claiming and making a moral claim that the government of Iran is violent to his people and X, Y, Z. And he even told me about people's freedom and rights. And he's talking about human suffering and freedom. And when the Kurds have been subjected to those kind of pain and torture over time, they do have a right to self-determination. Why don't you care about the Kurdish plight? And will you support them to break up the country into multiple parts, to give the Baloch their own state, to give the Kurds their own state, to give the, what do you call them? Every other minority in the region, in the country that have been, beating up their own state, because the Americans are trying to do that. As we speak right now, the Americans, as we speak right now, the Americans believe what I'm saying. The Americans want the army of Kurds in Elam, in Kurdistan, and the other provinces on the border with Iraq. Right now, as we speak, you have Mossad agents and Israeli forces in Erbil and some parts of Suleimania on the Iraqi border. They are mobilizing there and they are trying to attack Iran from 2 or 3 different fronts. So again, that's why I'm asking him. If he's supporting the destruction of Iran, I want him to know that he's supporting the balkanization and the partitioning of Iran.
Well, hang on a second, Saab. You've got two conversations running here. One is the rights of minorities within countries, and the second is what we're seeing right now, this conflict. Two separate conversations here. Regardless of what's happening now with the war, the Kurds do have a legitimate right of self-determination in Syria, in Iraq, in Iran, because they can demonstrate that they've been there for a significant time, and they've been conquered by different empires. And the Arabs had an empire, the Iranians had an empire. So I do agree with you. They do deserve independence, but you cannot say that the reason for this conflict, right? You cannot say that just because this conflict came about, that the Americans and other Western countries had an intention of breaking up Iran. You said the same thing about Iraq in 2003. And look what's happened now.
Oh, we said the same thing about Iraq in 2003. So let's get this straight. The Americans...
Iraq is still one country.
No, it's not. Technically, it's not one country. So you're saying that, so it's the Americans are the Americans being honest about their point of view? Are the Americans being honest about their commitment to the Kurds, promising them to help them to have right of self-determination, or are they lying to them? Because they did that to them in the 70s. And Saddam came to power in 1979 and went in and wiped them in Halabja. They promised them the same thing against the Turks. And what happened? They turned against them and leaked the information relating to the whereabouts of Abdullah Öcalan that was hiding in Kenya, Africa. They did the same thing to them in Syria and used them to do the fighting in Syria against Assad and dumped them to Jolani. They did the same thing again in Iraq in 2014. And the Kurds and the Peshmerga were at the front line of the fighting against ISIS and Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi with the Popular Mobilization Forces. What happened? After all of that happened, the Americans dumped them again to the government in Baghdad. And now they're trying to use them again in Iran. Are they using the Kurds? Are the Kurds unwilling to learn? And you're not seeing the moral side of it. You are the one making the claim that, oh, you love the Kurds and so on and so forth. And then you have the brother from Iran that claims that his grandmother was pushed out of the country and I should sympathize with him, that the grandmother stole money during the Shah, expelled from the country, and he's making that as a reason why the country should be bombed and destroyed. So the point I'm making here is that why don't you guys find consistency in your argument? Find a common ground. I stand against American bombs, destroying the country with the goal of partitioning the country, dividing the country, and assessing the resources of that country. That is what I stand against. Is this too difficult? Is it too difficult to understand?
No, I get where you're coming from, but you make it seem like those countries are unified and it is a country itself. Let me give you an example. Iraq was not a state up until the 20s. It's a fake country. It's a Western construct state. There was no such country as Iraq in ancient days. You've got Arabs, you've got Jews, you've got Assyrians, you've got Armenians, you've got Kurds. And under Saddam, it was a failed state. So the idea that Americans came and destroyed the state is invalid because it was never a state from a moral point of view.
Oh, whoa. I think you're going into a completely different domain.
No, but what
How many nation states were in existence on the dawn of the Second World War? Not a lot. They were not up to not even a handful of states. Again, you're going back. You're going to technicalities, right? If you're going to say that, if you're going to say that Nigeria did not exist as a state until 1960, Ghana did not exist as a state until the 50s. So this cannot be your argument that it was not a state 300 years ago. Therefore, it became, so they put up together in the 20s. And who did it? The Europe. I'm not. You're blaming the Europeans, or are you blaming the Turks?
No, stop.
Because
let me explain what I said. I didn't say that. What I said was like Iraq.
Yeah, you say that Iraq has no moral claim to territory, that it was not a state.
Let me finish. Iraq is a territory with different ethnicities there. It was never a country like Persia. Persia was a country. Assyria was a nation. The Babylonians were a nation. The Greeks were a nation. The Israelites were a nation.
Can you give me the theoretical distinction between a state and a nation? Can you do that?
Well,
do you have the academic understanding to do that? Can you please do that?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Yes. All right. So a state is defined that is a member of the UN. You could be a state, a sovereign recognized state, that trades and has diplomatic relations with another. You could have three nations within a state. And I'll give you an example. The Turkish Cypriots are a nation in the Republic of Cyprus. They're not a separate state, they're a nation. When someone asks you, what nationality are you? You could be Greek, you could be Turkish, you could be Armenian in the Republic of Cyprus. You could be the same thing in Turkey. You could be Armenian, you could be Kurd. There's different nations within a state. So there is a big difference between that. So in Iraq, there's a country, a state called Iraq, but there's different nations in Iraq. So the point that I was making before, Sav, is you make it seem that someone's coming into Iraq and breaking up the country. Well, there wasn't a country before. It's a built-up of different nations.
Again, I think you're going back to the same point when you say. And by the way, let's get this clear. Your definition of a nation is people that are homogeneous, they have like similar culture and identity, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to the states, you're giving me a definition about just recognition. There are different elements to a nation, to what a state is. You can look at different instances and you can use different models. For instance, there's the Montevideo Convention of I think 1932 that defines a state as an entity that has, number one, territory, it has sovereignty, very important, it has population, it has defined territory, sovereignty, population, government, and the last one is the monopoly of the legitimate use of force. So these 5 key elements: recognition.
So hang on.
Hold on. Recognition in the sense that is what the state is. Recognition in any sense is secondary. Recognition is very important, but the Montevideo Convention did not insist on the sacrosanct of a recognition like you're mentioning. The United Nations was not even there, before 1945. The League of Nations was not there before 1919 or 1918. So how far back can we go? And you're saying that Iraq does not have a moral justification to exist. That the nations within. Oh, that's what you're saying. That it did not exist before because there are different nationalities in it. Therefore, it should be broken apart to represent the nationalities within the state. You can say that about in Papua New Guinea. In Papua New Guinea, you have over 1,000 nationalities. In Nigeria, you have over 700 nationalities. What are we doing here? You're having a conversation about, what is going on in Iran, and you're telling me that, oh, well, the Azeris therefore can go and break up the country. The courts can do that because the country is not because the country is not homogeneous. You're saying the country is not homogeneous, and that we should break up the country. You can say that about most of the countries in the region.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I want to be very clear with you what I said. Iraq is not, it was never a country called Iraq. Does it have a right to exist? Absolutely it has a right to exist. If you look around Europe, France, Switzerland, all these countries are not ancient people, but they have a right for self-determination. I'm not saying Iraq hasn't got a right, but what I'm saying is the Kurds and the Armenians, other people have a right for self-determination as well. So I'll give you an example, Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was never a country. It's a built-up of different nations put together. Back in the mid-80s, no one questioned the authority of the country Yugoslavia, the Federation. But you cannot be naive and think that it's one nationality in the whole Yugoslavia. Croatia, North Macedonia, Serbia, Croatians, and Montenegrins. So they're different.
So what is your point? Your point is that if the countries, your point is that if there's no homogeneity in that state, that it doesn't have a moral justification to exist, and there could be.
I'll tell you what I mean. In like for example, in Yugoslavia, if everything was according to plan, and every region had exact rights and equality as every other region, there wouldn't be a problem. However, when one group takes over the whole federation and imposes measures that diminishes the individual right, or in particular the community of a different state, at that point, that state has a right of self-determination, and as you mentioned, the convention. But the problem with what you said, that is not a state. That's the criteria of statehood. Very big difference.
No, I said, no. I told you that those are the 5 cardinal elements of a state. It's not it's not just the criteria. This is the 5 major elements of a state.
Well, so in that, having said that, I agree with that, and there's countless states around the world that are not recognized, but from a legal point of view,
no, they are not states. They are technically not states. You can call them countries, but they lack the. Hold on. Most of those countries lack the element of sovereignty. That's not a state. For instance, Puerto Rico is not a state. It's a country, but it doesn't have sovereignty. Eastern Jamaica is not a state. It doesn't have one of the most important aspects of statehood, which is sovereignty. It lacks it. So again, you have to understand the distinction between those two. But let's go back to Iran.
Let me ask you
let's go back to Iran. I want us to stay on the topic. Let's go back to Iran.
Hang on. Let me ask you a question, though. Let me ask you a question closer to your continent. So Somaliland declared independence in the early 90s, but also declared independence in the early 60s. In your opinion, citing the convention which you just mentioned before, does Somaliland have the legitimate rights of declaring self-determination?
If they have all these major components and have recognition, I would argue yes.
Okay.
I might not agree with it, but I will say yes. Like, again, it's about technicalities. But let's stay on the topic. Let's go back to Iran. What is the moral justification for an American-led Israeli attack and bombardment of Iran? And what is the objective?
All right. From a legal point of view, when a country is harboring Theism constantly for decades, when the country, the legitimate government, as you call it, of Iran, is unaliving their own people, they do not represent the population, when they openly threaten another sovereign nation in the United Nations constantly, and fund and provide weaponry to those T organizations to attack another sovereign country. The war has begun. The war didn't start a few days ago. It didn't start months ago. It started when they supported and funded T organizations. So what Israel and America are doing is completely legitimate in accordance to international law, because the war has been declared.
So the war will be declared on the assumption that one country is backing different groups and entities that you don't agree with. So if we are going to say that, if we are saying, excuse me, hold on. Azerbaijan threatens the sovereignty of Iran. The Israelis are arming the Azeris with a clear intention of using their bases to spy on Iran. Is that a declaration of war? The US have military bases all over Africa, supporting subversive groups. Even you can see that from the classified information. It's not me. The Americans supported the Contras in Nicaragua. They removed the elected government of Salvador Allende. In Chile, what they did to Noriega in the America, I think in Panama, what they did, all over the Americas, and they're doing it in Africa and everywhere. Is that a declaration of war? And do we have the right to bomb them? Is it about morality or is it just about power?
It's a bit of both. And look, it's a bit of both, Asaf. Look, you can say what you want about another country, but when a sovereign state threatens to wipe out another sovereign state, it's one thing. The second thing is when they give the tools and means to do it, i.e. Hezbollah, then it takes on a different level. Then the war has been brought upon Israel's front door.
Israel is providing arms and training, and it's on record. Arms and training to the Kurds to go, and the Kurds are pointing that arms at Turkey. They are pointing the arms at the government in Baghdad. They are pointing the arms at the government in Iran. Is that casus belli? Is that a justification for war? Is that a reason to go to war with Israel and bomb Israel from the sky?
No, it isn't, because the Kurds in northern Iraq have autonomy. It's different.
Well, so hang on a second. Are they part of the state of Iraq? What about the Kurds? What about the Kurds in Syria? What about the Kurds in Iran?
So what about Syrians supplying weapons to Hezbollah? Do you think that's a war too?
No, look, let's not play this game.
No, you talked about
You're turning
Syria.
the logic
You
on its
mentioned
head.
Syria.
I listen to you, and let's take your sort of justification on face value and say, yeah, because they're supporting proxies, and I'm telling you that Israel is supporting proxies. And I gave you a clear case of the Kurds. And I'm asking you in the same vein, and let's follow the same line of logic. Is that a justification to bomb Israel from the sky?
All right, I'll give you an objective.
No, answer the question. Just follow my logic.
Let me answer you. I'm answering you now. Let me answer you. Israel has been accused of supporting ISIS. Hang on, I'm answering your question.
I didn't mention ISIS, and we can talk about that. But I didn't mention that.
Example. I know you didn't, but I'm giving an example. They've been accused of supporting ISIS, which led to destabilizing Syria.
Mm-hmm.
This is going back to your question. Does Syria have a right to declare war or respond to the declaration of war against Israel? They do have a right. They do have a right to do it. And what happened to them in the end? They lost. They lost the war with Israel. Correct?
So it's also, so again, when you make a morality argument and I turn the logic on the other direction, you can't deal with it, then you make a power argument.
No, I did.
You make a real political argument. No, again, because you can't defend your morality standpoint. You are saying we are going to Iran to free the women from the hijab. You're saying we are going to Iran because of moral reasons. No, it has never been about that. It has never been about that.
You asked me a question about proxies, and I answered your question very specifically. Syria had a right to invade Israel when Israel supported ISIS. They had a right. So I'm being consistent with my argument. Do you disagree with me?
Oh, well, you said, well, we see what happens in the end. Meaning that even though you say, oh, well, okay, I want to make sure that we're on the same page in terms of our standpoint. But what happens in the end is that you're going to get bombed back or you're going to lose the war or something like that.
I didn't say that.
So it's about power to you. None of this have to do have anything to do with morality.
The outcome of wars, so what I said is that Syria has and had a right to start a conflict with Israel, but unfortunately for Syria, they lost the war. It's that simple. Do you agree or disagree with me?
I don't understand your point. It's not the same logic.
I'll repeat myself. What I said before, when Iran threatens to wipe off a sovereign nation and gives the means and tools to its proxies, Israel has the right to invade Iran. The same way as Syria had the right to invade Israel when Israel was accused of supporting and supplying weapons to ISIS against the regime. Do you agree or disagree with my logic?
I mean, again, I think you're deflecting and you're not really following.
I'm not deflecting. You asked me the question. You asked me a very specific question. I answered you very, very specific. Is it true or false what I'm saying? Do you agree? Am I inconsistent with my logic?
But again, there's a caveat to what you said. you told me.
You can't answer my question.
Yeah, but you said the caveat. The caveat is that, well, even though they do that, we are going to bomb them again and they will still lose. That's what you're saying.
If you answer the question to yes, you'd be a hypocrite because you'd be supporting Israel's invasion of Iran. That's why you can't answer the question.
No, but that's not the point. You are the one that's struggling to respond to my question. You can't have one.
Repeat it again. Repeat it.
You are making a moral claim. My question to you is, why are you guys in Iran? You're saying that they're supporting proxies. Israel is doing the same. You're saying that, oh, the women are wearing hijab and we need to take it off. You can say that about Saudi Arabia.
I didn't say that. I couldn't care less what you're wearing. What do I care what you're wearing? That's an internal issue.
Yeah, well,
what do I care?
Well, as far as I know, you have the American populace, by the way, the laziest and the most brainwashed populace. I think the Australian people are far more enlightened in politics. The Americans are living behind the iron curtain. This is the biggest country on earth, and you listen to them, and they're following this like they just follow their government. It's either you're on the left watching CNN or you're on the right watching Fox. That's the beginning of the end. This is the beginning and the end of the world to them.
So can I just ask you a question? I would agree with you with the regime in Iran if the regime has the backing of the majority of the population. I would agree with you. You cannot change government whether you like it or not. It's an internal matter. But the reality is, like in Syria, the government, the Ba'ath Party, Bashar al-Assad, was very unpopular, had no mandate over the population. The same way is in Iran. The majority of the population do not support the regime. So whether it is like you accuse America of interfering in other people's conflict.
Yes.
You sit back idling when Russia is meddling in Syria, meddling in Iran.
No, I wasn't idle. I was talking about it.
You have no problems with that.
No, I was talking about it. I was talking about it.
So you got a problem with Russia in Syria and Iran? You got a problem with that?
Absolutely not. They were invited.
Oh, why not? Why?
Well, hold on. Syria invited Russia to come in. The Syrian government.
Who invited Russia? Sorry, can you repeat that? Who?
The Syrian government invited Russia to step in after ISIS emerged with the intention of toppling the government. Hold on. The same way, Iran was invited to Iraq when the Abu Musab al-Zarqawi and his progeny, what do you call it, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi took over large swathes of central Iraq, including Nineveh, including provinces like what do you call them?
Can you just go back to
Salah ad-Din and so on and so forth. So again, you're saying it's not the same equivalence. It's not the same equivalence. Iran did not invite America to come in and bomb them. America invited themselves.
When you say Iran, who do you mean exactly?
The Iranian government is the representation of the people.
Oh, okay. So when.
So who represents? Excuse me. As a Nigerian, on international level, who do I deal with? Do I deal with the government of America, or do I deal with anybody on the street that raise up a placard and say they are against the government? Of course, it's the government. So you are telling me now that the government of America would disregard the Iranian government and work with protesters on the streets and come to bomb from the sky? Is that what you're saying? You're talking about the Russians being in Iran that are there on the invitation of the government, which is representing the people. You're talking about.
All right, so Sab. Let's question your logic now. So you said the government of Iran, the government of Syria invited Russia. So what would you say if I told you that the government of Iraq has invited the American military there? What would you say if the government of Syria, the government of Syria now is inviting America to have a.
They have not done that.
No, I'm asking you a question. What if I told you the Syrian government now, which is recognized, they invite Israel and America to have bases in Syria? Would you think that's inconsistent?
It's not inconsistent. I might disagree with it, but I understand that it's legal to do so. If the government of Jolani decides to invite the Americans and the Israelis and Indians and whoever he wants to invite, that's good for him. He represents the people. As it stands today, he has legitimacy.
Perfect.
So again, nobody in 2003. The difference is that in 2003, nobody invited the Yankees. In 2014, nobody invited the Yankees to Syria. Nobody invited the Yankees anywhere. They invite themselves and go and bomb, and that's the difference.
All right, good point there, Sab. Let me ask you this question then. So in 1979, who invited? No,
don't deflect them. Huh?
No, I'm asking you now. In 1979, who encouraged the overthrow of the Shah in Iran? Who facilitated?
Again, this is non sequitur. They are not the same argument.
No, it is.
It's not the same argument. You're talking about. Hold on. You're talking about a revolution that happened in the country that led to the overthrow of the Shah. Whether you agree with it or not, I personally have my questions about that so-called revolution, because it looks like the French intelligence and the American intelligence did the underground work and kicked out the Shah because the oil contracts ended in 1979. He was unwilling to renew on the same terms, and they kicked him out.
He was very unpopular with his
people. Excuse me, whether it was unpopular or not, it's the circumstance. Okay, and when that happened,
the Shah was unpopular.
When that happened, again, it doesn't matter to me. When that happened, the Khomeini came and took over power. But again, your point is not consistent or it's not.
No,
It's not the same point. It's not.
What I'm saying.
It's not the same point as saying, "Oh, America is going to invite itself to another country they disagree with." America will wake up tomorrow now. There's a protest in Abuja, Nigeria. The government of Nigeria arrests 500 people. America said that is morally wrong, and they come to bomb from the sky and they change the government as a global policeman. That is what you're comparing with an organic revolution that happened in the country.
Let me explain myself clear to you. In 1979, there was an overthrow and revolution in Iran. The same thing happened in Syria recently, and the same thing is about to happen again in Iran. So
no, it's not. It's so different. In 79, the American planes. Hold on. You're saying in 1979, American planes bombed Shah Reza Pahlavi from office?
No, we didn't.
So why is it the same? Why are you saying it's the same with what's happening?
Revolutions can come into different forms.
Okay, so America is enabling revolutions around the world. Yeah.
Hang on. You just said it before, Saab. You said America pushed the overthrow of the Shah because he turned on America and he was unpopular with his people
Again,
because of the oil and trading. So to be consistent with your logic, Saab, there was a foreign intervention in Iran.
I am against foreign interventions.
In Iran now.
I'll repeat myself. I am against foreign interventions around the world. Where there's an American bomb falling from the sky, I'm against it. Anytime
Russia in Syria though.
Syria and the Syrian government invited the Russians. So what are you talking about?
No.
Again, I don't know why you're comparing apples and oranges.
Saab. The government of Iraq is a puppet government, and when they invite America, you have objections to that.
No, it's not. The government of Iraq. Can you tell me when they invited the American government?
Oh, well, they're allies now. They've got bases there.
Oh, no, they're not allies. No, they're not allies. No. It's a master-slave relationship. Excuse me. American presence there predates today. It didn't happen in 2007. It happened after America invaded Iraq in 2003. So again, and maintain, excuse me, you cannot come in and impose yourself on a country and say you're allies. You don't impose relationship. If I go and pick up a lady, beat her up, lock her in a room, and I say we're partners now. This is not how it works. This is not how the relationship works. You can't force yourself on people.
Saab, what happened in Iraq? It was imposed, the government there. The government now invites America to have a base.
The government of Iraq did not, I repeat the word, not invite America for a
they have a base there now.
Oh, but were they invited?
No, of course they were invited.
By who?
By the Iraqi government.
Can you show any proof of this, that America got invited by Iraq?
Oh, okay, all right. So if they were not invited, have the Iraqi government called for the expulsion?
The Iraqi government cannot call for the expulsion of America because America will bomb it. That's the thing.
No. Saab.
Don't say Saab.
I'm asking you
That's the reality.
Simple question.
That's it. The Iraqi government now is a puppet government that is afraid of collapsing because if they do that, in fact, we've seen it before. They asked the Americans to leave, they refused. The government of Cuba asked America to leave Guantanamo, they refused. The Iraqi government under Nur al-Maliki, excuse me, the Iraqi government under Nur al-Maliki, under, what's his name, Ibrahim Jafri, I can mention the prime minister, they asked the Americans to leave and they refused to leave. Wake up, my friend.
So Saab, you made a good point just then. What's the difference with the Syrian government under Bashar al-Assad? He's a puppet government of Russia. No? You don't agree?
Do you know
do you agree or not?
Can I ask you something? Do you know how the Russians came to Syria?
I'm asking you.
Can you ask? It's not the puppet government of the Russians. Were they invited?
Okay.
Were the Russians invited?
Show me the proof. Where's the proof?
The Russians were invited by the Syrian government. I'm going to show you the proof.
Of that?
Yes.
Where's the proof?
Syria invitation.
There's no proof.
There is proof. What are you talking about?
So the puppet government invited.
No,
is that what
it's not. It's not about that. You're talking about invitation. Okay? You're talking about invitation. Let's look at the Russia-Syria relationship, if you want to look at it. And it goes back again.
The government of Iran now.
The government. Oh, hold on. The government of Syria. You asked me a question. The civil war from 2011 to 2024. Now, during the civil war, which began in 2011. Russia and with China in February 2012 voted against the UN Security Council. Now going back to that, let's go to the.
Talking about Bashar al-Assad's father. If you
No,
don't know
I'm talking
Syrian
about.
history, it's not him. It's
No. Hold on. Bashar al-Assad's father came to power when? When did he come to power?
You tell me.
No, it's not in the 50s. He came to power in 1973. No, not 73. Even I think there was a war in 1970. He became president in 1970 to 71. Before him was Salah Jadid, that was there during the war, the 6-day war in 1967. The Yom Kippur War was 1973. So he came to power in 1970, not in the 50s. And he died in the year 2000. And then Bashar took over power. Bashar was a student in was eye doctor in London. That was where he was. And this is where he met Asma al-Assad, was an investment banker in the UK. So again, I know the history of most of these things. You are telling me about, oh, this and that. Russia and Syria having, I'm telling you that the Russians, the cooperation goes back to the 50s.
And when did it start? Can I ask
1966, they established their base in, I think, in Tartus or Latakia. And then during the civil war in 2011, by 2014, after the ISIS were trying to overrun the Syrian government position, they invited them. There's a formal invitation by.
So hang on a second, Saf.
There was a formal invitation, by the Russians, by what do you call it?
Let me just clarify one thing, Saf. Let me clarify one thing. So during the Cold War, the Russians were expanding in Europe, taking over Poland, all those countries, imposing puppet governments. And
Yes, how far back can we go? And during the Holy Roman Empire, Richard the Lionheart, during the Holy Roman Empire, Richard the Lionheart and all these people were expanding and bombing people. The Americans, the British went to America. Again, how far back can we go? Focus on the reality. Focus on the now. You're telling me about the Cold War period in the 50s. I want to talk about now. What is happening now? The Americans are not invited to Iran, and then we go back in boxes.
The people have invited America. The people of Iran have. Can't you see it on the streets?
So if I raise up a placard and invite the Americans to bomb my government, is that what they should do?
Oh, well, the people support the American involvement in Iran. You disagree with me?
No, they don't. Most of them are diaspora people that live a fantastic life and are the ones, encouraging this madness.
So the protest that you see in Iran and mass unalivement was nothing to you. It's just
there's protest in Iran and mass unalivement. Is that what you're saying? That if there's protest and there's
asking you.
Excuse me. Look, you are speaking from your bomb. You are telling me that if people are protesting, raise up arms against the policemen in order to overthrow the government should just sit down there and allow the overthrow. That's what you're saying. That the government should not do anything. The government should just allow themselves to be overrun. Why didn't the Saudi government allow? Why didn't the Saudi government allow itself to be overrun in 2011 when people were protesting? Why didn't the government in Bahrain allow itself to be overrun during the protest? The Americans don't have a problem with that because the Saudis are giving them money. All of it is for sale.
Let me answer your question. So in 79, they overthrew the government by force. It is happening now. You have no objection back then. You should have no objection right now. It's very consistent.
I completely object to that. And on this note, thank you for.
Hang on. Do you object to 79 as well? Do you object to that?
It was an organic revolution in 79. Although I have my exception. Look, I'm not an amoeba that is going to float around. I understand what you're saying, but nobody's inviting the Americans to Iran to bomb it from the sky. On this note, I bring this comment.
Hang on a second, Saf. What gives you the right to put the requirement that it has to be bombed from the sky? The invasion of Iran in 79, the overthrow of the Shah.
Again, keep going back to 1979. You keep going back to 1979. Nobody invited
It
The
was not
Yankees,
organic back then.
nobody invited the Yankees to
You let
bomb
me
from the
speak.
sky.
Let
I'm
me
listening to
speak.
you. You're not making any,
No, you're not letting me speak.
you're not
Stop
making any
interrupting.
credible
Let me
point.
finish my point. Let me finish my point. In 1979, America was behind the overthrow of the Shah because of oil. You have no objection of that foreign intervention, but now you've got an objection to this foreign intervention.
America funded and gave money to people, and they've done it around the world. I'm against it. Even in 79, I have my exceptions. But the idea of bombing, the idea of bombing the country from the sky, the idea of bombing, carpet bombing a country from the sky to change the government in order to control their oil, it's not something I stand with. I'm sorry.
But hang on a second, sir.
Again, you're going back to 1979. Let's talk about American and Israel bombing. Again, the same thing with Venezuela. You keep talking about this like this is in isolation. This is the attitude of the Yankees. This is the attitude of these white men in suits in Washington, D.C. that are going from place to place to bomb and to pillage and to loot.
But hang on a second here, sir. I think there's an inconsistency in your logic because on the one hand, you support the Palestinians being G-sided, but you make no reference to the people
I support the
in Iran
Palestinians being
G-sided.
G-sided. I never said that. Have
No,
you?
sorry. You support against the people being G-sided in Palestine, but you make no comment on the 70,000.
Thank you for
people
accepting.
in 3 weeks.
Thank you for accepting that what happened in Palestine is a genocide.
No, your view of it.
Oh well, I think you're the one that posited that question to me, and I accept it with both hands. Yes, I want to thank you very much for accepting that
You don't
what
have
they
to
did to
thank
the
me.
Palestinians is a genocide.
Well, no. So you just proved what a hypocrite you are. On the one hand, you say you're against what happened in Palestine.
Again, this is the different. This
On
is
the
the
other
wrong
hand-
equivalence.
on the other hand-
Excuse me.
Well,
This
hang
is
on,
a
sir.
wrong
You make
equivalence.
no mention about the Iranian
This is the
Jews.
wrong. This is the wrong equivalence. On one hand, you're saying, "Oh, well, the situation in Palestine," and you're trying to compare that with what is going on in Iran. The Iranian government have been sanctioned more than any other country in the world except North Korea. The Iranian government have been sanctioned to unalivement.
But rightfully, though, rightfully.
Okay, it's okay to sanction those you disagree with. So if I don't like if I have a lot of power in Nigeria and I don't like the fact that you guys are eating kangaroo meat in Australia, I can sanction you. If I wake up in the morning and I don't agree with the way you sell your oil on the international market, I can sanction you. Like how much
Let me just say
how
something, Sav.
delusional can you be?
I find it very ironic. Honestly, I find it very ironic that you support IRGC. I find it very ironic that you support them when they oppress their own people and unalive tens of thousands. I find it very ironic for you.
I mean, it's ironic to you. I stand with the government of Iran to defend itself against foreign invaders.
But the government is not representative of
The government
people,
is
so
representing 90 million people. You are a white man in Australia. How do you know that?
I tell you how. It's well documented by Iranians, not by you as a black African or a white Australian as me. It's documented by the people of Iran that they're not happy with their government. What other proof do you need?
The Iranian people,
What other proof do you need?
the Iranian people, the ones that own OnlyFans in Florida, that live in Germany, they are the ones you are hearing their voice. How many Iranians in Iran are you speaking to? And when I go and I see over 1 million, when I see over 1 million Iranians today on the street demonstrating against the unalivement of their leader, those are the people you should be talking to, not some OnlyFans models, not some Iranian OnlyFans model in Canada.
Why did the government stop the internet in Iran? What are they scared of?
The government stopped the internet in Iran. Oh well, from what I understand, the people are organizing themselves to carry arms against the state, like we saw in Iran.
Are they not allowed to?
No, you can't organize yourself to pick up arms against the state.
How does the revolution come about then?
Why? Okay, you're saying that the government should allow people to pick up arms and overthrow it.
No,
You
you said it should be organic. You said it should be organic, but and I'm asking you now, if they stop the internet, how does it become organic?
Yeah, the government have the responsibility to prevent people trying to overthrow it.
Oh.
Yes.
So on the one hand, you say it should be done by foreign intervention, but yet again, you support the banning of.
Why are you so obsessed with the overthrow of the government in Iran. You as an Australian,
You
right?
should let it happen. You should let it
No,
happen.
you shouldn't let it
That's what
happen.
people want.
If you are a government, will you allow? So can Trump allow the overthrow of his government? Is Trump going to allow it?
If it's illegitimate, absolutely.
Excuse me. I asked you a direct question. Is Trump going to
I
allow
did answer you.
people to pick up arms and unalive policemen to overthrow the government?
Well, in America, if you're familiar with the Constitution, they've got a provision that specifically says that you can protect your own rights and civil liberty. I think you've given a bad example, America. Give another country.
No.
The Constitution of America says.
No, it's not the
foreign
Constitution.
and domestic
It's not the
rights.
Constitution of America. I'm looking at
It
people.
is.
I'm looking at people protesting in America, holding
No, that's
placards.
not. You asked me a question.
Excuse me,
You asked
excuse
a
me,
question.
excuse me. I see people protesting in America holding placards, and ICE agents are pew-pewing them directly in the head. Did you see that, or you missed that? Did you see that, or did you not see that?
I've seen it.
Yeah, and you stand by it because they are the children of God, they are democratic, and they are closer to God. And then when the Arabs and the Muslims do it, and when the Arabs and the Muslims do it, you can't allow it. When the white Americans do it.
To answer your question, in America, in the Constitution, it allows people to bear arms against
No, I
domestic
don't care about what the
foreign
First
threats.
Amendment or whatever, Second Amendment, whatever you call it. That is not the point. In reality, even
Well, you asked me a question, I answered you.
in reality, if you stand up to protest against power in America, you'll be unalived. And we have seen this over Black Lives Movement.
Same in Iran. Same in Iran.
Yeah, so why should we not? Why is it different from America? Should we bomb America and remove the leadership in America for that
How many
reason?
people were unalived in America for protests? How many?
America, as an empire, have unalived more people on earth than any other
I
person.
didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that.
No, when you go and you unalive
How
1.5
many
million,
people were unalived?
1.5 million unalived in Iraq. Over
No, hang on. I asked you in America, how many people were unalived?
only when they do it, only when they do it to their own,
protest?
only when they do it to their own. So when they slaughter over 1.5 million people in Iraq, you accept it.
Stop. You're not answering my question.
I'm responding.
America,
In their thousands during the
how many people
BLM
in
protest.
America are being slaughtered?
In their thousands during the BLM protest, and a few during this last protest against ICE.
No, thousands. Did you say? How many? How many?
I have no idea, but very significant.
Give me a figure. I just want to.
I'm not going to give you a figure. I know that the United States of America and the authorities in America pick up arms and pew their own people.
Okay, all right. So it's well known that 70,000 approximately.
No, when you comment, can you show me this number? Show me right now this number. That's 70,000. Initially, you said 90,000. Some Israeli came up before and said a million. Hold on. You said 90,000 when you came up. One Israeli came up before and says over 900,000 people unalive during the protest. So you guys are banding out this number to use it in order to hang the dog. You are unaliving Iranian. Did you see the? Hold on, before you ask your question. Before you ask your question, yesterday, one of the first Israeli strikes was against a girls' primary school in Iran. Did you see that? And did you accept? Do you accept that?
You think it's true?
It's not true that those girls were unalived.
Do you think it's true? I'm asking you.
Are you saying it's not true that the girls were unalived? Over 160 of them, confirmed by Reuters and other media outlets. We saw the videos. You're saying it didn't happen.
You saw the videos.
Yes.
It happened, right?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Let me answer your question.
Whoa. Hold on. You are doubting that over 100 girls, the elders being 14 years old and below, were unalived in that primary school. A girls' school. They went there and unalived them.
Let me answer your question. Repeat your question. I'll answer you. Give me 1 minute. I'll answer your question.
Did you see the video that your moral army went into Iran and unalived over 160 school girls?
All right. Let me answer your question. Give me 30 seconds. This goes back to my point with you. When the government cuts off the internet and you have nothing to see, if you cannot see an atrocity in Iran, does it mean it didn't happen? Of course it doesn't mean. So this proves exactly my point with you, sir.
What internet? I'm not talking about internet.
Hang on.
I'm not talking about internet. People in Iran are using Starlink. People are using Starlink in Iran.
Sir, let me finish my point. If you control the media and you can cut off the internet because you cannot see a video, does not mean an atrocity did not take place.
Bro,
you proved my point there.
Bro,
you proved my point.
You're not answering the question because you are a hypocrite.
I did answer your question.
You are simping and bending over backwards for these people. Did you see the video of the Israeli strike on a primary school in Iran that took out over 160 girls? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
But you're claiming it didn't happen initially. And what is your opinion on that?
No, I didn't.
What is your opinion on that?
Do you think it happened?
Yes, it happened.
I didn't say, Sav, listen very carefully. I did not say it didn't happen. What I said to you, do you believe it?
They're on live, the schoolgirls.
Why do you believe it? Because you saw it?
The videos are there. The Americans and the Israelis.
Videos.
Hold on. The assailant.
Doesn't allow videos to be spread.
Excuse me. The American news media outlets, including Reuters, reported on this. Media outlets around the world reported on this.
Because it's been reported and because there's a video, it means it happened, correct?
Did you see those videos or did you not?
I'm asking you a question.
And the fact that you are so cold and you don't even have any sort of position on this, you are just.
I answered your question. I saw it, and I'm asking you a question.
Yeah. So, what is your opinion on that?
An article. It means it happened, correct?
Excuse me. Did it happen or did it not?
According to the video and according to the reports, it seems like it happened. Do you believe me?
No, I asked you the question about the attack by Israel.
I answered your question. According to the video.
Excuse me.
No. Reports.
Okay,
it seems that it happened.
I'm reclaiming the microphone. Did you see the video of the Israeli strike on the primary school in Iran that slain over 160 schoolgirls? Did you see the video?
I answered your question 3 times.
Did you see the video? Yes or no? Did you see the video?
This is the 4th time I'm going to answer your question.
Did you see the video? What is your opinion? What is your opinion? What is your opinion on it?
So my opinion is I saw a video of a school being kaboomed, right? And lots of people as a result of casualties. Now my question to you as an intelligent person.
No.
Hang on. As an intelligent person.
Oh my God.
I'm going to ask you the question now and stay focused.
I am focused.
You saw a video. You've read a report. I've read a report. Did the event take place? Yes or no?
I posed the question to you because I'm
asking you a question. Did it take place?
No, I already clarified my position with that question I asked you.
Can you clarify it again for us?
No, my position is simple.
There's 268 people.
My position is very simple.
Did it happen?
No, I will elucidate my point again clearly for you to understand.
Scared to say yes?
Scared to say what? You bombed a school.
Why did you say yes? It happened.
You supported the bombing of a school that took out over 160 schoolgirls. It's not my fault.
I didn't say I supported it, but I asked you a very specific question, sir. You said it happened. Can
Yes.
you clarify that it happened?
Of course it happened.
Yes. So what if I tell you in Iran that they've cut off the internet and there's atrocities happening everywhere by the government forces because there's no video? Does it mean it didn't happen?
The atrocities happening right now are American and Israeli bombs falling from the sky. What atrocities are you talking about? When people pick up arms against the government?
Stay focused, please. If there's no reports, if there's no videos of an alleged atrocity, did the atrocity take place? Yes or no?
What are you talking about? I think you're you are gish galloping at this point. You keep moving from 79 to talk about the Russian, intervention in Syria. You stay focused.
Believe what you see, sir.
No.
Only believe what you see.
Of course, I believe what I see.
And when things take place and you have no videos, you turn a blind eye.
There are videos because even though the government will want to cut off internet, people have Starlink. People have other means of accessing the internet in Iran.
What if there was a witness statement, sir? What if this witnesses who claim that an atrocity took place in Iran, but there's no video? Are you going to?
And again, stop treating this like a law court. Stop treating.
No, I'm asking you a question.
Stop treating this like a cross-examination. This is a conversation about you supporting and sanctioning the bombardment of a country you disagree with politically. That must be made very clear.
I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. I support the overthrow of the regime. Absolutely support. And many Iranians support it too.
Shame on you.
Somehow you in Africa want the regime to stay in place who oppresses their own people. What rights do you have?
I don't have any rights to say anything. I just have a right to my opinion. My opinion is simple.
Exactly.
Anywhere there's a Yankee bomb, anywhere the white men gather to bomb other people of color and people around the world, I'm going to stand against it. Is that clear?
What did the Russians do in Afghanistan in the 70s? Do you support that?
A lot of people were against that. I wasn't born in the 70s.
Do you support it?
I look at the videos. Of course, I stand against bombardment of innocent civilians.
Oh, but can you say the words? You denounced Russia in the 70s for occupying Europe.
And again, you have to put that Europe. You have to put that in context, because during the Cold War period, the Americans instigated conflict using the Central Asian route to transport a lot of opium to Central Asia and use that corridor as a weak link to attack Russia during the Cold War. And the Russians stepped into Afghanistan.
Hang on. They were allies during the World War II, though. They were allies in World War II.
But that time, you see the way he asks a question and he moves again. He's constantly, this is the Jewish shuffle. He's constantly moving from one side to another so that you cannot get him. This guy asks a question about Afghanistan. I'm responding to the question. Then he goes to Europe. Then he goes to the 1950s.
Poland and Hungary in the 50s. You just said now, because of America, Russia has a right.
You don't know my opinion on that. You don't know my opinion.
You said they had a right.
No, I said in Afghanistan, it was a different context. And because again,
what was it?
Excuse me, you're speaking to me as somebody that supports America, that have bombarded countries in Europe, that have military base today in Germany. One of America's, Camp Ramstein and the Kaiserslautern area have over, 50,000 American personnel still stationed there with their dependents, totaling over 100,000 today. Today.
Japan as well.
In Japan, in Okinawa, in Japan, in Seoul, in South Korea,
Right.
in Eastern Jamaica, in Guam, in Puerto Rico, bases all over the world.
What's your point, though?
So again, you are the one supporting America that have arrogated itself this right to go around the world to bomb, to destroy, to pillage. So I am not the one that should be on the defensive here. You are the one asking that should answer my questions for supporting this brutal and barbaric government.
Want America there. The Germans want America.
No, the Germans don't want the United States. Put that to a referendum. Can you put that to a referendum in Germany? Can we do a referendum in Germany about the presence of American troops in Kaiserslautern and find out?
Can we do a referendum in Iran?
You see, every time you ask him a question, he's galloping from place to place. He's galloping from place to place. Every time you ask him a question, this is the way they behave. This is the way these white men behave.
But you don't want a referendum in Iran. You're a hypocrite. You apply double.
No. You asked me a question about Germany and American presence in Germany. I'm giving you my opinion. I am giving you my opinion about American presence in Europe.
So would you accept the referendum? If I told you now, I accept the referendum in Germany, I think it's a good idea.
It's not about you and I.
Hang on. You said there should be a referendum in Germany.
It's a slippery slope fallacy. It's fallacious.
Hang on,
This order of argument is fallacious. It doesn't align with.
Hang on a second, sir. You just said on record now that there should be a referendum in Germany, whether they want America or not. I agree with you. That's the only way you could find out if the people want America. Do you also accept a referendum in Iran?
I support the expulsion of America from everywhere.
Can you answer my question?
I am responding to your question.
Excuse me.
I am
Can you answer
responding.
my question?
I'm responding.
Do you support a referendum
I'm calling for a referendum. I'm calling for a referendum in Okinawa, in Japan. I'm calling for a referendum in South Korea. I'm calling for a referendum in Germany. I'm calling for a referendum in Poland and in the Baltics. I'm calling for the expulsion of American forces everywhere in the world.
But Saab, listen to yourself. You just said you're supporting a referendum using democratic means, but you give.
I don't care about democracy. Democracy is an evil system. Democracy is a satanic system created by the same people that are destroying the world today. The most useless form of government in the world is a democratic government. bureaucratic,
Sir,
it is
sir,
corrupt, it is
sir.
lazy, fat, and slow.
Why do you call for
Democracy
referendum
is
then?
an evil system. Democracy is a satanic system.
Why do you call for referendum if you don't believe in a democracy?
I
Can
never
ask
call
you
it.
that?
Referendum does not mean democracy. I'll give you an
So
instance.
what happens in a referendum? Can you explain to us?
People make their opinions known. They stand up
No,
and
it's
say,
not an opinion. It's not an opinion, sir. It's
referendum is opinion. Referendum is about opinion.
No.
What do you call
It's
it?
not an opinion. It's not an opinion.
Referendum is an opinion on a political issue.
No.
Excuse me.
A poll. No, sir. Excuse me. A poll is.
Referendum is an
referendum
opinion.
is a
Hold on. So how do you, when you do polls, what those polls, what are they for? They're opinion polls.
It's an opinion.
Exactly.
It's an
Referendum.
opinion.
Uh-huh.
A referendum is not a poll. A referendum is a legal binding mechanism. So can I just ask you one question, sir? You want referendums in all those countries?
Again. This idea of imposing your position on democracy. I'm not calling it democracy. When you talk about democracy, when you're talking about democracy, you're referring to liberal capitalist Western American style democracy, and they go to the ballot. Hold on, Bernard. One of the most important scholars of Middle Eastern and Oriental politics is Bernard Lewis. Bernard Lewis told a story about what was happening during the Ottoman Empire. Listen to me. During the Ottoman period, a British representative was sent to Constantinople or whatever to discuss on some disagreements that they had, and the leader at that time said, "Look, I can't take this decision. I need to consult with my people." Consultation in that sense, he wants to engage the feeling of the people, engage their opinion, and then he can translate that to action. Again, what that means is that irrespective of your Western idea of democracy, these have always existed. You don't have to call it democracy. People have always made decisions on consensus. People have always made decisions on even voting. But that in itself is not your definition of liberal Western style democracy. Stop imposing your systems on us.
With all respect, sir, you're deflecting.
I'm not deflecting. I'm against American. I am against.
You called for referendum.
Yes.
But then you're against democracies. And I asked you, what is a referendum? And you're clueless what it means. Why don't you give the same people the rights in
I'm not clueless.
For referendum?
I am not clueless. I'm not clueless. I know that. I'm not clueless. I know that the referendum is binding.
Why are you restricting Iran of a referendum? Why?
No, nobody's referendum in what?
Iran.
What is the political? What is the political issue on the table? What is the political issue on the table in Iran?
I just told you, sir.
What is the political question for referendum in Iran? Tell me.
Sir.
What is the political question for? Listen.
Let me answer you. Since you're not answering my question, I will answer your question. There is civil unrest in Iran. There's been civil unrest since '79. So the question I got for you is, do you believe the people in Iran have the right to determine the fate? Yes or no? Do you believe?
Again, you keep going back and forth. You said I asked you a question. You said you will respond, and then you asked me a question. This is not making any sense. We're not going anywhere with this conversation.
You asked me what's the political situation in Iran. I answered your question.
No, what is the political question? What is the political question on the table for a referendum? That's what I'm asking. So what is the?
I answered your question 3 times. Let me answer it again for you. There's political and civil unrest. Would you like me to translate that?
But that is not how it works. If there's a referendum in place, you're saying, excuse me, this is the way it works with the referendum. Again, you're claiming that the referendum is not an opinion. I don't think you know what you're talking about. So you're saying that, you're saying that
you push for referendum, not me.
A referendum is an opinion. I don't know why you're still arguing with that. But let's go back to your point about Iran. What is the political question on the table for you calling for a referendum in Iran? What is the political question?
Sav, let me answer your question for the fourth time.
Mhm.
You call for a referendum in all those countries.
I'm not calling for a referendum anywhere.
I never mentioned a referendum in Iran. I asked you a question. Why do you restrict the people of Iran the same rights as you said for Japan, Germany, Guam, and other countries? Why do you think that the Iranians do not deserve a referendum in your opinion?
I'll repeat my points. We spoke about Germany. American troop presence in Germany will be expelled, whether vertically or horizontally. That's what I'm calling for. And again, if that doesn't work and the German people decide we are going to put it to a test, let them do it. But if that doesn't work, they can expel them by force. In Japan as well, they can expel them by force. Again, let's go back to Iran.
You said it on record here. You call for a referendum. You, not the people. You call for a referendum in those countries.
That's my opinion.
And I agree with you, and I don't disagree with you. But the question I got for you is: you seem that you're a man of morality, but yet you want to restrict
No, I'm not.
Iran the same standard. And I'm asking you.
No, I'm not just a man of morality. I also look at international law.
What gives you the right to restrict a country?
I am not just a man of morality. I also look at international law. What is the justification?
So why do you think the Iranian people don't deserve the rights of the same rights you give
the
to
Iranian
Germany?
people deserve all the rights. If you take off the sanctions are punishing, the sanctions are biting, and this is why
Jumping to a different conversation.
it's not a different conversation. The reason why they are protesting, today is because of the economic hardship. One of the major reasons is because the primary reason of this protest.
How do you know that? How do you know? Have you had a poll? Have you had a poll in Iran?
No, you want to talk about
How do
poll?
you know?
Now you want to go into the aspect of data.
You
You want to do it because you want to go into the aspect of data.
Saab, you question me whether it's 70,000, 80,000, 100,000, but now you made a bold statement that the people are not happy with the government.
I'm not saying they are not happy with the government. I never said that. I said the reason for the unrest. I am saying that the reason for the unrest in Iran is because of the sanctions, and the sanctions is clearly affecting the economy of Iran. The sanction is clearly, I repeat the word,
How do you know?
clearly. Of course, you look at the numbers. Look at the inflation in Iran.
Who told
There
you?
is no. Look at the inflation of Iran. I can simply tap up the value of the Iranian real today, and I'll see the value pegged against the dollar. The sanctions. It is a sanction. What are you talking about?
So hang on a second, Saab. So you went around and asked all the Iranian people. Is that what you've done?
No, I haven't done that.
So hang on. Hang on. You want to impose your view, what the people of Iran feel, but you don't want to give them a referendum.
I'll tell you one thing, the Iranian people.
Listen to yourself.
I will tell you one thing. I will tell you one thing and one thing only. The Iranian people do not want American bombs falling from the sky unaliving them. How about that?
How would you know that, Sav? How would you know
You're
that?
saying that the Iranian people are in support of Iranian bombs falling from the sky and unaliving
I'm
their
not
mothers
saying
and
that.
sisters?
I've never said that, Sav. But why do you say the opposite is true?
Yeah, because they are against it.
How do you know? I'm asking you. I've got your answer. How do you know?
Yeah,
How
because
do you know?
because nobody wants to be unalive. Nobody wants to be blown up by American
Sav,
bombs.
I see Iranian people on the streets
Celebrating the bombing of their country.
But hang on.
Can you show me
Sav,
videos
Sav, 1 second.
of Iranian people
one
dancing
second.
and jubilating like you claim? I told you already, they are different people.
I see a video.
When I see people in Canada, in Canada and in America where they want to own OnlyFans, but that is not going to happen in Iran. That's what they're saying.
Sav, can I just say something, Sav? I see people on video in Iran celebrating. Is it true?
Yeah, there are some videos of people celebrating. There are some videos of people, the Kurds, these Kurdish people that are claiming to break up the country in Ilam, in Kurdistan. You can go and see some people in Tehran protesting. That does not represent the totality of Iran.
So Sav, it goes back to the original argument. You saw a video of school children getting kaboomed.
It is a fact. And the fact that you are trying to deny that those children were not unalive is disrespectful.
Let me make my point, Sav. You saw a video of children get unalive. I saw a video of people celebrating. Both of them must be true, correct?
The video
Correct.
shown corroborated,
Be consistent,
reported,
sir. Be consistent, sir.
and admitted by the West itself of slaying those Iranian children
Wait.
is
Sir,
not
sir,
in
I
question.
asked you a question. We both saw a video, and I saw the video of children getting unalived and the people
I also-
celebrating. Both of them have
No,
to
it cannot be true
they're
because they are
video.
all videos. There are also videos of the quick. Does that mean if I tell you I saw a video of an elephant swallowing a dog is true? That's not the point.
Thank you, sir.
That
You
is
made
not the
my
point. Your
very
opinion is useless.
clear.
You're standing
Sir,
on the
you
side
made
of the
my point
oppressor.
very clear.
Shame on you. You're standing on the side of the oppressor.
Sir,
Long live Iran.
you made my point
Long
very
live
clear.
Iran. Long live Iran.
Sir, you made my point very clear. Just because you see a video doesn't mean it's true. You made my point very clear. Thank you for that, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Thank
you.
you.
Made it very clear for me.
Yeah, just
You know,
because.
and look, sir, I asked you a simple question. Why don't you believe the people of Iran deserve the same rights as Germany and Japan of a referendum? You cannot answer my question.
The people of Iran deserve to get the best things in. They deserve to get the best things in life. One thing that they don't deserve is American bombs and Israeli bombs falling from the sky. That is a fact.
But do they deserve being unalived in the thousands? Do they deserve that?
Yeah, by Israeli bombs, absolutely not.
No. By the government of Iran, do they deserve?
You have the government of Iran is unaliving their own people right now. Is that what you're saying? You are claiming that the Iranian government.
Have you seen the video?
You're claiming right now to me that the Iranian government is unaliving their own people as we speak right now.
Have you seen reports, sir? How many thousands of people? Have you seen the videos?
As we speak right now, you're saying that is happening, that they are unaliving their own people.
In the last month, sir, thousands have been butchered. Do you disagree with me?
By who?
By the government forces. Do you agree? Yes or no?
The government forces during the protest that the government
of Iran forces and militias are butchering thousands of civilians. Do you think it's fake news or real news?
Fake news.
But you've seen the videos. I've seen the videos.
I've seen some videos. The government of Iran did clamp down on some protesters. They didn't unalive some people. But if you're coming here to tell me it's 900,000 people unalived, that is fake news. Let's go to
How would you know the figure? How would you know the figure?
Hold on. Dharma, where are you from and what's your point? What's your position?
Yes. Very good morning. I just, from yesterday onwards, I'm just watching your wife live here. And what I'm thinking is, I'm not in this problem, but I just want to share you guys. Why, first of all, why we are bringing this kind of war and all problem on this planet? Because of like this. People are not accepting each other. They are fighting for their own rights, just like you and that guy. We are fighting for our rights and bringing problem. First, we need to know how to accept ourselves, each other. Then we can bring the peace over world. That is my only one thing I can suggest here. We need to know how to accept each other. Then we can bring peace in ourselves and we can go peaceful world then. Otherwise, bringing problem, all these things because of fighting for our own rights. You can fight for your rights, he can fight for his right. But we are not knowing who is right here and then simply not accepting each other. That's why war is coming here. We need to know how to accept ourselves and we need to learn first about our own self, not for others. Otherwise, problem will be always here. Problem is bringing because of this kind fighting for each other. That's all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Where are you from, brother? Where did he go?
Oh, I think it dropped. Yeah. Anyways, Theodore, thank you for coming up, and we'll continue this conversation tomorrow.
Thanks, mate. Have a great day, huh?
Yeah, you too, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.